boxing, man. I guess I owe everybody an apology. I just opened it up. I had Paul smoking through Martinez. Martinez has turned out to be LL Cool.
Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Shout out to Big Ride or Die and Cold Train.
You got an upgrade to his name? Big Ride or Die?
Why is he Big Ride or Die?
What's my side name?
Me.
Super Sleep.
Standard.
Diggity Dots.
Deluxe.
Yeah, so we talking about this weekend's bout with Paul Williams versus Martinez from Argentina via Spain. It was an excellent bout. I didn't officially go on record, but I thought Martinez was going to give Paul some trouble. And that's exactly what he did. He came out, dropped Paul in the first round, although getting dropped, he admitted, you know, it didn't even look like he was really, like it was like a bona fide knockdown.
When Paul hit Martinez.
Yeah, when Paul hit Martinez.
Martinez validated it. He hit him with a good shot.
Martinez validated.
I think it was a glazing shot.
It was a glancing blow, but he got it.
Yeah. But I would have thought that was a slip or some sort of goofy thing.
That last knockdown I didn't think was a slip. The one they said that Martinez slipped, because even though Paul kind of pushed with it, it was more of a push. I didn't.
Oh, you mean at the end?
Because he didn't have his legs.
Yeah, he didn't have his legs.
Are you guys being Paul Williams apologists right now?
No, not at all.
I keep. You know what? You got to give it to Paul, man. Paul worked hard and he dug deep, man. Paul. A lot of people when they fight like that and they start getting, it behind handed to them, and it's not, when Plan A and Plan B and Plan C go out the window, they usually fold. But Paul, man, he dug deep. He stuck with it. Like you got to give him a lot of respect for that.
Like Emmanuel Stewart said, like Paul is a gangster. First, let's get into the fight. Martinez and Paul. What I'm not understanding is Paul's been walking everybody down ever since Margarito. If you look at ever since he's moved up, he's disrespecting people's power. I didn't think Martinez was going to have the head movement that guys the fourth, the fifth, sixth punch. But obviously Martinez, just like the previous left-hander he fought, was shooting those overhand rights and connecting Paul coming in. But Paul was totally disrespectful, just walking him down.
In the beginning, he looked like he was trying to air him out.
Leaving the jab out there, leaving the right hand down, totally disrespecting opponents. And he's been doing this ever since he moved up. And like we know Paul got great chin and is excited for boxing, but he never made the adjustment. I think if he gave up his limb from the door.
It was the Quintana syndrome. You know what I mean? He fought him the same way. It was the counter punches that got Paul all the way. It was a right hook counter punch at first, then it turned into the straight left counter punch.
He set the straight left up by starting tapping his chest. Right. Martinez fought an excellent fight. Like you gotta understand, he's doing everything he can against this guy, and he's not getting the guy on the canvas. He started making adjustments and started jabbing to the body.
And I don't like the way Martinez fight. I mean, personally, stylistically, he keeps his hands down at his thighs.
Well, that means you don't like Joe Calzaghe.
This is Joe style.
He keeps his hands down, and he always has that winded look. Like
get the feet. Yeah, get the feet. It's that Roy. Yeah. That Roy Joe.
But Roy had, in all due respect, Roy had more finesse with it. Roy be doing that little cock joint, bam.
But y'all forgot the key point for why he does what he does. He used to be a soccer player and a cyclist.
Right, exactly.
So exceptional footwork and get on his bike when he needs to in the ring.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you on camera saying that. Yeah, that's a good point. Martinez made excellent adjustments. Paul, like he said, took the fight to him, gave us a fight of the year. But I'm saying for Paul Williams, the more he moves up and fight, if Martinez has power, Paul Williams gets knocked out in this fight. He's been disrespecting people's power from ever since he left 147. I think he could get away with that at 147, but I think he needs to not give up his height.
You know what? It wasn't, to me, it wasn't really a significant power issue because anytime you fight like that, then you kind of put yourself at a disadvantage. That's in my opinion. I just think Paul has to really adjust to counter punches, and he would. The whole reason why he was getting tagged all night was from counter punching. He was getting counter punched in.
Why was he getting tagged? Because He's giving up his height, and he's just walking the person. He's walking the person down.
Paul typically gives up his height.
This is the same. This is the same guy that
down to you.
This is the same guy that could box you in the middle, fight backwards. Remember the Margarito fight? He has all these skills, but he's been on some. I mean, he's on a mission that we're enjoying. But what I'm saying, if Martinez had a little more power, Paul would have been knocked out.
You bring a good point.
He's getting hit with flush stuff on the kisser.
Paul has to learn how to use his height. He's about 6'3".
He does though. I think he's just on some. I'm gonna take the fight to you.
Yeah, he comes in, pop. Yeah. He needs to sit up, pop the jab, and then try to land something off the jab.
You see early in the fight, like Sergio Martinez, he was just on some. Going like this, meaning his body all the way in, arm down here. So the
right hook.
Yeah, the right hook. Every time he stretches out, he's leaving out.
Y'all got the wrong stance. Huh? Y'all got the wrong stance.
My bad. He was just also, he's leaving his left hand down. So, what's next for these two guys? Because I would love to see a rematch. I'm arguing with people. I know.
I really don't want to see a rematch. Let's come back to that. Because usually when you have fights like that, especially in the success, look at the War and Gotti. You know, they were really
Vasquez Marquez. But neither one of these guys, nobody wants to fight them. They start calling them, start talking about Bernard, things like that. They're not going to get these fights. I think they're going to be forced to fight this fight again. HBO's going to throw a lot of money at it. Martinez is not getting a fight after this fight. I mean, he's going to pose a lot of problems. 154.
I would like to see Paul and Cintron fight. That would be interesting.
Cintron would fight him.
How about Martinez need to fight Cintron again and settle this score?
I think
well, he won the fight. They gagged him.
They did gag him. They got him off that. They gagged him off that that knockdown.
What you had to fight? To fight even.
I had Paul barely winning.
I had to fight him.
Arreola was getting tagged a lot, man. But he just didn't have he just didn't have a stand.
He fought Brian Minto, an old, small heavyweight.
5'10".
5'10", 215 pounds.
Yeah. We missed a good fight at the end of the day because both of those fights was worth the money.
They were worth it.
We would have went down there, we would have enjoyed it.
I'm going back to the main event of that fight. And me and Ryder Diamond, we were talking for the last 2-3 weeks when that fight was announced that Martinez was going to give Paul Williams a tough fight. I had Paul winning the fight.
He gives him a tougher fight than Kelly Patton would have gave him.
Oh yeah, definitely. I said, Paul's going to win, but it's going to be a tough fight. I didn't think it was going to be that tough. Me personally, I scored the fight a draw. I don't know what that French-American judge was smoking. They scored it 119-109. Julie Letterman had it right. And
110-09. That's one round.
119-109. That's one round. What round was that? The first round? But
no, it had to be the second. Martinez was kicking his
I'm gonna say this though. Paul's not a boxer, yo. He's not a boxer. He's an exciting fighter. He comes at you, throws volume. Doesn't have great defense. Doesn't have defense.
He's a brawler with finesse. That's what Paul was.
What about the Margarito fight? He doesn't have defense, but he boxed Margarito.
It ain't hard to box Margarito.
It's not.
Anybody with some semblance of some type of offense could look like they're a boxer against Margarito.
That's true.
But when he fought Quintana, I was one of the people that said that was a fluke. He's gonna come back. That was really not Paul. When he lost that fight against Quintana, and he knocked him out in the first round in a rematch. I was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's Paul. That's the real Paul.
Right.
This Paul right here that look like that against Martinez shows me that there's a lot of flaws.
That's the same Paul, though. The Paul that gives up his height and tries to.
Well, I'm convinced now. Paul is a flawed fighter.
Every fighter
if he fights Floyd, he'll be in for a tough fight. He can't beat Floyd. Even I told Ryder that. Even your boy Manny, the way he was fighting, I think Manny finds him. Even though he's 5'7", the way he was fighting and the way he shows me he's flawed against southpaws, I think Manny finds him.
They too little. They can't hurt him.
He can't hurt him, but he'll tag him.
Too much work rate for them.
B-Hop did his thing, man. He showed himself that he's 40 plus, but he still got a decent work rate. He came in and did his thing. I mean, the guy wasn't a tomato can.
You didn't see the well either.
And B-Hop did his thing. So, shout out to Bernard Hopkins. Golden Boy, these guys, they were thick in Philadelphia. They did a little thing in Philadelphia. But B-Hop did his thing. Roy Jones, of course, y'all know what happened to that. Danny, my boy, knocked him out in the first round. Roy shot, man. And those who were picking B-Hop and Roy were saying that Roy is going to beat B-Hop, man. Y'all smoking something, because Roy got nothing left.
I think it's similar to what's going on in the NFL. I think shout out to Docs for always putting me on to the anatomy of the punch. I think Roy is being constantly concussed, and he was hurt with that air shot behind the head. But I think once you get successful, you have your first concussion, just like Brian Westbrook, just like what's going on in the NFL. I think the chances of it happening again,
like Troy Aikman.
Yeah, Troy Aikman. I think Eric Lindros. I think a lot of situations, this is what's going on with Roy Jones. He needs to retire. B-Hop, I started off that day thinking that, he's getting hit too much. He looks a little rusty. I woke up the next day understanding that I saw another masterful performance. B-Hop and Floyd are probably the only two fighters to sit there and assess a situation before they start picking ways to take things away from you. Bernard and Williams fight, I'm going with Bernard in the fight. I see him taking away a lot of stuff that Paul's trying to do. Plus, he's going to suck Paul up.
Why are you even talking about that? Let's talk about Bernard and Chad. How about